action again. Look back at the week here, Dean. How's your ribs doing?
It hasn't improved.
No.
Kind of a bummer.
Now, are you saying that like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst for pain, what was your pain before?
When it first happened?
Yeah, when it first happened.
There's no number.
Right, off the charts.
There's no number to associate that pain.
You were saying you let out a howl.
It's just discomfort. My sleeping habits have changed. So it's just depressing more than anything because you're just sitting here waiting.
Yeah.
But it's understood.
With that too, so you've been off work too during this time? Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense. They don't want light duty, you don't want to drive, narcotics, all that stuff. My burning question, because on last week's episode, you had mentioned that some of the activity around your house had picked up, or different types of activities as far as potential paranormal activity. Are you experiencing anything new in the house on that front?
A few here and there.
Yeah. Anything worth mentioning? Or just the same type of stuff?
Same type of stuff.
Yeah.
Not as it was last week.
When the fresh trauma had just taken place?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, yeah. Speaking of last week, I do want to, circle back and give a shout out to our good friend Sarah B for joining us last week. We had a great time with her. Dean, you've done your magic and gotten everything published up on YouTube for that episode. But again, shout out to Sarah B for joining us. For those of you listening at home or on YouTube or Facebook or anything, you can check Sarah out at Haunted Rockford events. And also, they mentioned they have a new podcast coming out called Naturally Intuitive, which you can be found on Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. So, little plug for Sarah, even though she's not here. I wanted to put it out there. A couple folks saying hi to us too. I see Laura Redmond, as always. Best fan, number one fan. Beautiful Laura Redmond saying, hey guys. Someone else who is remaining anonymous on my end is saying hello to us as well. So a couple folks in there, give it a shout out on that end. See what's new and exciting on my end. I think the biggest thing on my end is down 15 pounds in this crazy diet and workout thing that I got going on. My flowers are blooming, and I planned my first camping trip with my son Avery coming up this weekend to do some tent camping out at the park that I was live at the one time. So that'll be fun.
Camping is awesome.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see too, how he does overnight, outside in the elements. I think I can wear him out enough to where he falls asleep, but he's got no regard for somebody else's personal space or silent time. So, that's going to be the biggest thing. He'll just want to watch cartoons at high blast or, sing and dance at high blast all hours of the day. So that ought to be fun. But it ties into today's episode a little bit, because as I was reading about St. Albans, and I know your experience that you're going to share with us, but I always think of these places like the mental health institutes, let's call them, or the sanatoriums. And if Avery was born in a different, even if it was like, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, how things may be different for him if he was in a place like this, especially the horror stories you hear about places like.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, we could take today's world and compare it to stuff that happened in the past and just see the torment of how we treated humans.
Yeah.
I mean, probably still to today. I mean, in 20 years, people probably look back and think some of our practices are barbaric.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, some of the stuff that I was reading, about this, and it's you see it on all the sanatoriums or mental institutions where they're doing the lobotomies, putting people in ice baths, shock therapy, you name it. Somebody just had some crackpot idea to test this out on people, and some of them could have been kids through adult. And it amazes me that was the thoughts. Well, this person's not responding. Let's just shock them till they do. Or if they don't, we'll just kill them with shocking them.
Yeah. And it's interesting how many people have a career and then end up mentally going crazy. And, it's just that point of it too. Is like, I have a newspaper article where a doctor ended up going crazy and tried to commit suicide. And I mean, a doctor of all people,
Yeah.
you would think.
Well, I have a theory about that type of stuff too. And, I don't know, it's a theory. Let's just put it that way. But I've always been of the thought that, like, let's say you're a blue collar worker and you're using your body all day long. By the time you retire, you end up hurt, sore, not being able to really do much work, not say you're crippled, but you end up sore. But anybody that does the exact opposite, that's using their brain all the time, I could use my granddad for instance. He worked at a bank, was president of the bank, what have you, general white collar person, but he ended up being one of the first folks I knew to get dementia or Alzheimer's. So I wonder if it's the same thing. You're using that muscle all the time, so this one wears out. You just end up going, I don't want to call it crazy, but off the reservation from time to time. It's just my theory behind it. The more muscles you use, the more they get worn out. So
again, that's why I nap all day.
Plan to live forever then. So far, so good. I wish I could nap all day. I look back sometimes prior to having the kid. The wife and I used to sleep till 1, 2, 3.
Oh wait, is it like BC? Is it like before the kid?
Yeah, BC, before child, BK. Looking back on 10 BK or BA before Avery, and we used to sleep till like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. and all of my friends and acquaintances that we would talk to, they'd be like, you're going to regret that. I don't regret a single moment of that. I wish I could go back to sleeping like that. Miss it. Let's see. Without further ado, what are we looking at here? We got season 1, episode 7 already, huh?
Wow.
Yeah. 7
Goes
episodes.
By fast, don't it?
Sure does. Time flies when you're having fun. This one's entitled The Dragon, and as we've alluded to previously, this is going to have to do with St. Albans, and a trip and a story and maybe a
trip
whirlwind of stories.
Yep. It's an adventure that Melissa and I took back in 2019, and along with Tim and Amanda and Dale's team and Greg. Greg was there as well. But this is how, through basically my eyes, going there and then coming back. I mean, it was such a bizarre world. People do. You remember in Seinfeld, they have the bizarro world? Oh,
yeah.
That's me. I'm like in the bizarro world. I do have a bizarro world. But, yeah, just all the things that happened throughout the course of the trip, and just stuff you just scratch your head at and saying, how is this even happening? And why is this happening? And you still just don't know, and you just have to grab the board and ride the wave, so to speak, and just hopefully not fall in the process.
That's what picking's all about.
Yeah. As far as evidence and stuff for tonight, I don't have too much, actually none. Basically, it was all personal experiences with everyone. Everyone was feeling something. Of course, in the YouTube version of this episode, I will have footage from our investigation at St. Albans. But hello, everyone. So May 30th in 2019, Melissa and I set out to actually Hartford City, Indiana again. This will be our follow-up trip to the Monroe House. So we were already there a year before with Dale and Bob Davies, Dale Kasmerick and Bob Davies, and just an odd experience the first time out. So we had to go back, and it didn't disappoint. We actually stopped at James Dean's grave and stopped there, and it was a nice sunny day. And then we saw the storm coming in, and we heard these sirens, and we're looking at each other like, holy crap, this is coming at us pretty quickly.
Hey, this is Dean and Melissa from Ghost Head Soup. We're right here at Park Cemetery in Fairmont, Indiana, at the site of James Dean's gravestone. And currently we have a severe thunderstorm warning going on. If you can see the clouds back here, we just heard the siren driving through Marion, Indiana. So we're going to look out for tornadoes, right? So gonna stick around here for a little bit before we head over to Monroe House in Hartford City, Indiana, and we're gonna stay the night tonight.
And so we jumped into Melissa's car and GPS it over to the Monroe House, which was about 30 minutes away, I think. And we're like going through these back roads and stuff because this wind just picked up. Hail was thrown at us. Trees was flying across the road. People were pulling over. Power lines were being ripped out of the sky onto the road. And it was just like we were in this storm all of a sudden. It went from sunshine to Twister, you know, the movie Twister. And then we're driving down this back road. Headlights are coming on. And I was like, all of a sudden, it like hit us, like everything turned like emerald green, which was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And like the car is coming towards us. You can see the water, and it's like green, like a color emerald or something.
Like the Wizard of Oz City.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the light behind me over here.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Melissa just yells out, "Oh my God! This has happened to me only once before." She's like freaking out. She goes, "We're in the rainbow."
It's over there, too.
This is it right here.
We're in it. This is the second time in my life I've seen this. Look at...
We are in the frickin' rainbow. Look at that. I got it.
Our angels are with us, bud.
We're in the frickin' rainbow. Go faster. Oh my God.
Look at the pavement is all colorful. Do you see this? The fucking ground is colorful. Everything is colorful.
Holy cow.
Look at there. It's starting to materialize in the sky.
Yeah.
It's like a double rainbow.
It's right here.
There's one, and there's one up there too in the sky. There's a double. We got one on the ground and one in the sky. We can pass these trees.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's the rainbow right there.
Yeah, and look up in the sky. There's another one.
This is video of us in the rainbow. Headed to Hartford City, Indiana. Headed to the Monroe House. Oh yeah. Even on the car's things you can see it. Oh my God, that's freaking wicked, dude.
Look at, there's one in the sky, one on the ground.
That's crazy.
Like inside the rainbow?
We're like in the rainbow. Like, you know, when you see the rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
We're at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. So that's what's causing the water and everything to illuminate the emerald, because you are part of the prism. I follow you.
We were in it. It was like, holy crap. and she's like freaking out. I'm like filming, and my my phone camera is kind of like freaking out, and I'm like trying to get it, everything, and then she sees a tornado, but a truck is blocking me, and I didn't see nothing, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
There's a little tornado.
What?
I just saw a little tornado. It's gone now. It came down and went back up. Oh no, it's still there.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm like right over the roof of that maroon truck right there. I just saw it come down. Maybe it came down twice. I gotta see where I'm driving here. Yeah, no, I just saw a little thing go and back up.
What?
Like a water spout or something.
Somewhere inside the rainbow.
And leading up to the Monroe house, it was kind of like it was something preventing us from getting there. But the rainbow were the children guiding our way because they wanted us to be there. And that's for a different story. That's what it felt like. And
So,
then when we arrived,
But
we arrived at the house and we met Eddie, and we got into the house, and we've been there before, so we didn't really have to do a walkthrough, but he came in and he's like, yeah, Mel, I'm surprised you guys are here because that rain just whipped through here. I'm like, I know, we were driving through it. And so we're going through there, and there was no storm. It was over, and we're walking through the house, and I said something like to the spirits, I'm like, hey, blah, 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 if Eddie's here, or Eddie, you could come on in, or something like that. And the lights flickered. And he goes, see ya. He said, see ya. And he left us.
You guys are on your own now.
So that's May 30th. So that's when our adventure started. Of course, we stayed the night there, did our investigation at the Monroe house. That's for another time. And then the next day, we went through Dayton, Ohio. And that storm system did hit Dayton, and tornado damage. We went by the highway. You could see all these trees and houses and apartments and businesses all tore up. So we drove through the damage of that Dayton, Ohio. So it was pretty wild to see that, just to drive through Dayton and see it. And on the way back, we'll go back through Dayton downtown a little bit and just kind of see more in depth of how, deep the damage went.
So how far of a drive is this from where you were at the Monroe house out to Dayton? How long does it take to get out to that area?
Well, I could pull up a map, but I don't know offhand.
Yeah.
But, it's a straight line down.
Okay. It's a straight line on the map, right? You just take that.
But yeah, you can just follow it through the thing. But
let's take about 4 to 5 inches on the map. That's
right. And we had storms along the way up until, because we're headed towards Virginia. So, there was some spotty storms, so much to where, the rain, you've driven through rainstorms before where your visibility is none.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're putting on your brakes, and, poor Melissa, she was driving the whole time, and we just stopped off, got some gas station sandwiches, which she'll later regret. Poor Melissa, man. She wasn't doing too good. And then, but she got back on the highway, and the truck was trying to come over, and she's like, it was just crazy. We're lucky to be alive.
Right.
But,
those gas station sandwiches can be suspect too, to your point. It's a
well,
hit or miss.
You got to look at the day. Yeah. You got to look at the freshness of it. But we survived, and we were actually headed towards the Natural Bridge, Virginia, which is, we went from the Monroe house, which is the mysterious house. People call it the demonic house, to a Natural Bridge park. There's a Natural Bridge hotel. It's ginormous. It's beautiful. And you can go walk through the park and see this giant natural bridge. And but before we get there,
Now, when you describe natural bridge, hold on one second. You mean like made out of nature, like it's dirt?
Oh,
it's, okay. And what is this? This crosses the river, a lake? What body of water?
Crosses a little creek, but I mean, back during the time, yep, 5 points.
Man, I don't think she's talking about like hip replacements either. That's
1, 2, 3, 4. You can only get 4 in your fingers, or all the ones in the mouth, probably. So yeah, the natural bridge. It's yeah, I can pull up a picture here.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic, because I'm thinking natural bridge, because that draws me to a parallel too that I'm thinking about. You're stuck in the rainbow, which is a natural event. You got tornadoes, which is a natural event. You go to a natural bridge. You got a natural disaster leading up here into the area, or natural non-disaster avoidance of disaster.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because there was the big hotel, and then they had these other off buildings that they were redoing. And I think Melissa and I were the only ones in that little area. Everyone was named the other one, which was kind of funny. But
and you're still, while you're pulling that up, you're still with this same group. You got Dale's folks, a few of them.
It was just Melissa and I.
Okay.
Tim and Amanda were driving to Virginia.
So they were going straight through.
Yeah, and then Dale's team was doing their own thing as well. But we were all going to one place.
Everybody was converging and meeting at St. Albans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
All right, now I forgot how. Oh, share screen. Here we go. Huh. What happened? What happened here?
Well, it's an unnatural bridge by the looks of it. It's shy, too, because it doesn't want to be shared on screen. And this is in... here we go. Now it's coming up. Well, that looks like 2 people making up... Oh, no, the bridge is in the background.
Yeah, sorry about my mug here.
All right, so that's that's pretty cool. The rock bridge cut out.
And that's a person right here. So you can see
Oh wow.
How giant this is. That's a person right there.
Okay. Well, that gives it some scale, because if you're taking a look at, the pair of you, which is, for those at home, Melissa and Dean in the picture, and this is giving you some scale. That looks to be 100 feet in the air.
That's right.
Yeah.
At least.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was very nice, because with asthma, that clean air was coming through, and it was just, I didn't want to leave because it actually felt positive. I mean, it was just so welcoming to be there. I can live there. I mean, I can build a house in that bridge.
Oh, and have plenty of room left for clearance or whatever's going through there too. Yeah. Now that's in Virginia, you said?
Natural Bridge, Virginia. That was actually Melissa's birthday too, when we stopped at a pink Cadillac diner. I love those little diners, don't you?
Yeah, the little pop-ups. So that means this is Melissa's birthday month then? May?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, at the end, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how ladies are. No offense to men or women there, but if they're anything like my wife, you get either a whole birthday week or a birthday month. That you got to start celebrating early. It's my birthday week.
Yeah, it's birthday month.
God bless.
So yeah, this is the hotel.
This is the hotel at the Natural Bridge?
Yeah.
That is rather large.
And that's where we stayed.
All right. Well, that's almost that's like a nice little cottage off to the side. Everybody else in the hotel, you guys are in the guest house.
Well, which is cooler because the This was right next to the Natural Bridge
I'm sure it was
Cemetery.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So you know.
I'm sure it was
That's our window.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from our window. Like we weren't gonna stay there.
That's right in the picking wheelhouse there. And then we got a bit. What was the picture of the tree? Just
well, you know,
Magnolia, or-
I take tree pictures a lot.
I know you do.
I do spirit animal photography.
And you do a great job of it too. So take me along. We're in Virginia. Melissa's birthday. We're getting ready to go meet a group of people at St. Albans. What's
Well, I got to backtrack because before the Natural Bridge,
mhm.
you know, again we went through James Dean, Monroe's house,
Mhm.
and the storms, the rainbow, tornadoes through Dayton, and then the rainstorms again, gas station sandwiches,
Probably the most deadly of them all.
and you know the mountains are crazy cool out there.
Oh yeah.
And Melissa sees something on the side of a mountain, and she said it was a giant dog, like a giant werewolf, so to speak, giant dog. I didn't see it, so I don't know if it was a, what do you call it, omen, like something that's gonna happen to her, or is it a sign? Something.
Yeah.
She's seen it, so apparently it was for her.
Her own personal harbinger.
I don't know, but she did see a giant dog, and I don't know, with your knowledge, do you know anything about if somebody sees a giant dog? What kind of...
Just from taking the personalities of a dog and the characteristics that go into it, you know, keep an eye on, maybe something was making her feel not as loyal as she should have been, is one thing. Another thing too, trying to guide you. Dogs will guide and seek out the best track for you. So if you guys were caught in the middle of a storm, maybe the dog was trying to guide her to that spot. I don't know if you ran into any other types of animals along the way or anything too, but dog guiding, loyalty, man's best friend, so to speak, even if it was a dark figure, could have had the same connotations as that.
No, I don't think as far as animals. I know that we did take a little cave tour. I got a nice walking stick from that place, and went to the Pink Cadillac Diner for her birthday, and it was a nice day. It was a nice non-paranormal day,
Right, just an excellent day in a different part of the country, and I like that part of the country. Everybody likes being outdoors and seeing, especially nature and the Natural Bridge where you're at. Nice, calming the mind too. Gets you in a clear head for what may be to come with the St. Albans visit.
Yeah. Then, of course, the next day we headed towards Radford, Virginia, where St. Albans is, basically just across the New River was where the buildings sit. But beforehand, we have to check into the hotel, get something to eat. And I know Dale had some other stuff planned, and they went to some museum and stuff. So we were kind of like following along in the same town, doing our own different thing. And we ended up at this bar restaurant to get something to eat. And small world as it is, it's BT's Feeling Froggy Food Fun Friends, Radford, Virginia. And here we are.
What, are you eating, ribs? Or frogs?
As you can tell, I'm not eating anything.
Right. You already ate, right?
I think they got some something fries.
Yeah.
But anytime I go on a hunt, I got to be careful what I eat.
Well, that's sound advice for anybody going on a hunt. Be careful what you eat, because we've all heard the stomach growl EVP, fiercest growl of them all.
Right. So the crazy thing about this BT's place is we met somebody that was actually from Harvard, Illinois.
Really?
Yeah. Yep,
Small town.
Amanda worked at Crandall's restaurant, and she knew that place. I guess her mom still lives around this area, and she went to school. She was going to school out that way, and there you go. She knew everything about Harvard. I'm like, oh, we come all this way to meet you then, apparently. You know?
Right, of all the places to meet somebody. Now, if my timeline's correct, this is April Fool's Day, April 1st?
No, June.
Oh, June. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going backwards in time.
Yeah, June 1st.
Yeah.
Yep. Turn your calendar the other way.
Right. Well, what month is this? May. Turn it upside down.
So then we make our way to St. Albans, which was the start of our adventure, I guess. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up something.
Well, you're pulling it up. Greg says hi.
Hey, Greg. Frog legs are great. Yep.
Frog legs are great.
So this here, so when we first pull up to St. Albans, Greg, I don't know if you've seen these kids, but when we pulled up, Melissa and I saw this older kid, teenager maybe, kind of like walking around the building or walk into the building or something. And then we saw these two little kids. And we were looking for the entrance to how to get in there. So we're walking out the front area. And actually, let's not play this one. We're walking around the front area. We're checking out the little cemetery on the side. And these two kids were out there, and they were talking to us and kind of giving us a warning, like, don't go in there. Don't go in there. You know,
is this place open to the public, too? I mean...
Well, you could pay to get a tour and stuff in there, but...
Yeah, but I guess what I'm getting at is the kids that are walking around there, is it like, you know, some buildings you can just walk around because they're historical and, you know, what have you, but if this is
you can walk in there. I don't know if the land is private property, but these kids were walking up. Apparently they were had a family
Melissa's birthday. It's June 1st.
Oops.
a little overdub audio. Yep.
So this is a quick video that I took.
Melissa's birthday. It's June 1st or May 31st. No, June 1st. There's two kids running around here at the St. Albans Sanatorium, and they're telling us you can't go in there. Is that a warning? I don't know. We'll soon find out. There's a lot of things about this place, so we'll have to see what's going on. We got Melissa, Tim, and Amanda from Ghost Head Soup as well. I'm walking around the outskirts. We're waiting for Dale Kazmerick and his crew, and we're going to see what's going on. Got a cemetery behind me, and then you got a house, and then you got the two kids there telling us to not go in.
That's great. So the kids are just wandering the property. Give me an idea.
Here's the slow-mo of the kids. Now, this is Tim filming. Talk about black-eyed children, man. He turns and stares Tim down.
All right. Let me in, Tim. Let me in. Now, you know, you probably know better than I do what St. Albans was before it was a mental institution, right?
Yeah, it was a school for young boys to become men. I'm just removing these from there. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yes, it was.
St. Albans School for Boys, and we'll get more into that too. Um, I don't want to go too much into the history of the place because it's out there to see.
Oh yeah, no, I was drawing a parallel between the young boys walking around the place
Oh
telling you
yeah,
not to go in, and then it being a boys reform school
right.
basically, or preparatory school. So that is just a parallel I was drawing between the two.
Oh no, I got you. That makes sense. Um, so prior to leaving the Natural Bridge, I was watching the Dead Files version of their investigation at St. Albans, and so I got. I'm like, I'm already like kind of like, I got to find the owner Marcel's and interview her because I already got my mind made up what I think is going on, just based off of that. And a lot of what happened at the Dead Files kind of matched what I saw at St. Albans. I think it kind of, I mean, that's a good rendition of what happens at St. Albans. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
So one of the things that Marcel's would say is that she wants for the love of the building to get the building the way it used to be, become a museum again, however long she had it. But when I seen her, I'm kicking myself for not having my recorder going because it was like I seen her and I just started interviewing her without my recorder on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going up and down. And if you ask Melissa and Amanda, they were like, holy crap. And they just kind of went into the gift store and kind of was looking and listening at the same time. Because it wasn't like a third degree interview, but it was like you were
getting the meat of the matter.
Hey, you look familiar. I was like, and I was talking to her and because she has a lot of health issues going on. And was this one? Yes, Greg. This is the same time. This is Melissa's birthday. Greg brought Melissa a cupcake. We sang happy birthday to Melissa at St. Albans. How about that? birthday party at St. Albans. Come on over. Bring the kids. Bring the heads.
Bring the straight jackets.
Here's a goodie bag. But this place to me was so charged up. And by the time I'd stopped interviewing Marcel's, I basically asked her, I said, which part of the building don't you like? What's the part of the building you don't even want to go into?
So you're asking her what she's scared of most inside of this entire building?
Well, yeah, because I think the spirits are beating her up.
Sure.
And if what's the worst part of the building, that's the part of the building that I want to go to.
Makes sense.
Find out, and she said the file room. So that's where I went. Went down to the filing room, and it was right below the area where we were all set up. So you can hear a fan going because it was hot. It was June 1st. It was hot. You can hear everyone walking around. And but I'll tell you, Tim and I went down there and we set up cameras and stuff. And then Tim came back down to leave a digital recorder down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never heard Tim say more F-bombs in my life. He's like, it's charged down here. Holy shit. Oh my God. I mean, the video of him just doing that is like, he just felt it. I mean, that's how charged it was down there.
Holy fuck, it's charged in here. placing a recorder right there. Actually, I want to do it where you can see it. Placing the recorder right here. So you should be able to see it.
And in my mind,
For those of you that don't know Tim, he's not the most outspoken guy at all times either. So that stands out to me.
yeah, F-bomb after F-bomb is just like, holy, gets charged down here. And, again, to get something on evidence is far and few between, but the personal experiences, that got our attention. So one of the things, I stayed. Tim did his thing. He's always out there setting up cameras and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just leave Tim alone. He actually lost a recorder on this main staircase. Was kind of funny listening to that because everyone walking by, hey, whose recorder is this? So you hear like these conversations all the time. That was good footage. I love listening to that. But we should do that at every HUD. That's fun.
Just leave one, right?
Just leave one and have people come across it every once in a while. And but I stayed in that area. I was nervous. I was like, something was telling me I shouldn't be here. Like one of the rules that they tell you, they read you a set of rules, and one of the rules says, don't cross our ghosts over. We want to keep them here.
Okay, makes sense.
Thinking, who the fuck are you? There's my F-bomb. Because seriously, who tells a human to leave a spirit here? Because it's ain't a ghost zoo.
Right.
You can't do that. It's like, to me, it was like uncomfortable.
They're not here for your entertainment, right?
I was uncomfortable there. To the point where I didn't want to go into the building. I mean, I did the walkthrough because I was with people.
Yeah.
But to go in there and talk to spirit, it was I didn't want to do it. So I kept walking around that place, and I just left everybody alone. I was quiet. And I actually went into the corner of the building, and I said a prayer. I watched the sun going down, and asked Jesus Christ to give me the lights. Why am I here? Is there a reason why I'm here? Because I always think there is. And just to have that extra light over me to protect me. I don't ask for protection ever. Right. I think that was the one and only time. And I think it came at the right moment because I was still nervous up to the threshold where I actually stepped in. And as soon as I stepped in, I was fine. And the rest of the night went great for me. Unfortunately, I didn't protect everyone in my team.
Well, but at the same token, I trust your intuition almost, religiously, no pun intended. And for you to say that, you needed the protection and wanted the protection, it all led you to it. Walk me back to, as you're going through this, like, give me a visual of how big this place is too, so I can get a understanding.
This place is over 6,800 square feet, dude. Yeah. There's 2 buildings, there's a corridor, there's basements, there's a 2-lane bowling alley, there's a boiling room, there's a filing room, there's just, it's huge. It's 68. Mm-hmm. I mean, you couldn't even cover half the area. And right. We had walkie-talkies, and that was like our lifeline right there, because when we were done with something, we didn't even hesitate. I didn't want to hesitate. We didn't have time to hesitate. Yeah. So you just grab the microphone or walkie-talkie and say, "Hey, Brian, can you show me where the cage room is?" And we go. He takes us there. That way, there's no time missed in between her. And I'll tell you, from the time that we had a great time. We utilized our time very well. I think this was a pretty good investigation. Yeah. As far as the 4 of us. Greg mentioned he wants to go back, and he got lost with a girl that was with Bob too. So. Yep, Greg. Greg was one of the people we heard on the recorder walking by, and he was walking around with Joanne, and we ended up running into them in the dragon room, and then that's when we went back to the main room to sing "Happy Birthday" for Melissa.
So if I'm picking up what you're putting down through your eyes too, I mean, this place is huge. You've got a lot of ground to cover, so you need a plan, and you need a way to get around where you're going. But there's plenty of different rooms to hit, and you got drawn to the file room first.
Well, no, I asked Marcel's what her worst place in the building was, and she said the filing room. That's the room that I wanted to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's definitely creepy down there. It just with Tim's F-bombs coming out. So as far as being drawn anywhere, I wasn't drawn anywhere. Now, Melissa and Amanda, they already went up to the suicide bathroom. Apparently, a girl by the name of Rebecca had a baby or a stillborn or something like that and committed suicide in the bathroom. Apparently, the bathroom, a lot of people committed suicide in. Again, this place, they tell the stories, but then they finish it up with, well, there's no documented proof of what we're telling you. So, and I can't find anything. And I know looking at history and looking at other people's research is that there was a building that burnt down with some paperwork. So maybe a lot of this has been burnt up and lost in history, unfortunately. Sure. But as far as repeating stories like that, I think it needs to stop. You know, you can't make something up that's not validated, and then just have other teams go in there. You know, there's a story about this guy Donald, an orderly at the hotel, at the sanatorium. So it was a school for boys, and then it later stopped, and then it later became a hospital / sanatorium, and that lasted for a lot of years. It was actually like the emergency room. You know, they did a lot of detox stuff. They did a lot of mental health stuff, electrotherapy stuff.
Hydrotherapy,
all that stuff. You can research into that, and it's just a sanatorium, you know. But I want to go back to before, where I was sitting there before the prayer, and another thing happened to me prior to that. Is there's this girl that I communicate. She says she's a psychic, and she's from Washington, the state of, like out in Seattle or Portland or whatever, one of those cities. And I talked to her a few times, and she'll call me and say, "Who's the person next to you?" or something like that. Well, I haven't heard from this person in years. Mm-hmm. She texts me when I'm sitting there before I say my prayer. That I'm in St. Albans, and she's sent me a text
out of nowhere.
And that's when I said, "Oh crap!" That's when I'm like, my head's starting to go, okay, I gotta go talk to Jesus. I gotta go in that corner over there.
Was her text of any significance as to the location or anything?
You know, I don't call it. Maybe something like, "What are you doing?" or "Where are you at?" type of thing. Yeah. Like, she got a sense of something, and that kind of like added to what was already happening, just out of the blue. I think I haven't heard from her in like 2 years since that. Something, it's been a while. And
Greg was wondering what her name was. Maybe you can share that with him, in a DM or something, so we don't put her on blast in this thing here. But so you've gotten all kinds of warning signs and what have you. We've all, even if the stories, as you put it, are not credible by research, we've all seen the Hollywood hype that the place has. The boiler room, the basement, the bowling alley, as you mentioned. They've all got that type of stuff. But Hollywood hype and fabrication aside, you're obviously feeling some sort of way because you reach out for protection. the rest of the team that you're with, even the other teams that you're with, maybe have their own personal experiences too. So while the stories in general, as they may be telling you, may not be verifiable at all, you still have some personal experiences that you can verify in the place and feel that the place has some type of paranormal activity to it. Correct?
Yeah. One of the shows, I think it was Ghost Asylum, cats from that, they talk about something called red eyes in the bowling alley.
Sure.
So, and then there's the boiler room where the people say they don't let women go in there alone.
Yeah, because somebody will grope women and fight the men.
Yeah. So, of course, Melissa and Amanda go into the boiler room by themselves.
Sure.
And
sure they do.
And Tim and I go into the bowling alley, and listening to the audio of Amanda and Melissa, you just hear all the. It was kind of funny because you can hear them saying, "Oh Lord," and Melissa felt that her guard was up. She had her right elbow touched. She was freaked. She started freaking out when she said uncle, because apparently the guy goes by uncle. And there was sounds that was heard. Melissa started getting ringing in her right ear. She was jumpy. She felt like the spider web effect. Actually, both Melissa and Amanda experienced the spider web.
Yeah.
Ironically, Amanda felt it on her left arm. Melissa felt it on her right arm. There was whispers that were heard. Of course, there was people upstairs, so you gotta kind of take that at what it is. Mm-hmm. But then they started provoking in a way, saying to the spirits, "Oh, you got nothing. We're a couple strong ladies here. We're kind of getting bored with you, And then Melissa feels coldness on her arm. And then you hear Melissa something with her left elbow, and she's like, "Son of a beach ball," It's just like she's responding. And then they're like, "Yeah, you got a couple blonde bombshells in here," or something like that. I don't know, but and then they're like, they're very boring. They're calling them weak and that they have no balls. Thanks for nothing, and they're calling them scaredy cats. And I didn't know what was going on in there until I listened to the audio. And this may come back to haunt them
later on.
Yes. Now, in the meantime, Tim and I are in the bowling alley. Now, the bowling alley is known to be haunted by, I guess, two female spirits. One of them being Allie, which is kind of funny. Bowling alley. It was kind of funny because Tim's like, "Is there an alley here?" And Amanda starts laughing. "Really, Tim? Bowling alley? Of course there's an alley." And then off of the Dead Files show, there was a report about a Gina Hall that was murdered, I guess, in the early 80s. And I guess the person that murdered her worked there, or kind of, they think that maybe her bones are on the property because he was part of the concrete crew to the new buildings that were being built there. So they think that this Gina person might be haunting the area.
Gave him the Hoffa treatment.
So close near the bowling alley, that's what they say. Now, I was standing on the lane down towards the pins, and I saw this red light come racing into the room and then darting back out. And it got me thinking, I was like, "Oh, here's red eyes, And then I'm also looking, I go, we got IR all over the place. I mean, I could see it in my camera, on my phone camera. I could see the red light. So what caused this on, I wasn't thinking it was, I think it was something that was caused by IR, or somebody moved, or a camera, or crossing of the IR, or something happened there. And I seen it at the time, but I seen it race in and race out. So it could be red eyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my mind was thinking, and by the time Amanda and Melissa came into the bowling alley, I was so deep in thought that I didn't even hear until review that Amanda felt a heavy presence near her, which I totally missed, and I should have recognized it at the time. But I was so deep in thought of trying to figure this red eyes thing out.
Probably as big as this ball. It kind of jetted in like this. And then it disappeared. And then it raced back that way.
They would have caught that on their
There's a hole there. Unless it crossed the plane of my IR. It could have been here. It could have crossed the plane of my IR.
You might have got it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's getting chilly over here now. I'm feeling like I'm getting chills. Right here. Yeah. Wow. Who's in here with us right now? Is it Gina? Are you here? Oh, now went away. Nope, it's still there.
So that's kind of the bowling alley. So we're already having experiences, the girls in the boiling room and us there, and nothing's being captured. It's just everything we're personal experiences.
So is that what you would say you personally think it was too? If I asked you what do you think it was IR lights hitting? Do you think that could be recreated at any given time? With other folks, is that I guess the question is that IR equipment in there all the time, cameras going back and forth, already set up there? Okay.
It was Tim's camera, and then Tim's camera coming at me. So I don't know, and then I don't know what kind of cameras they have in the building. Mm-hmm. They have cameras there, so I don't know what caused it to race in and race out. It was pretty quick. It came in quick, and then it stopped, and then it went back out.
Yeah.
And there was no one on the stairs. Mikey came down earlier, but he was gone by then. So I don't know. I put it on YouTube, my experience anyway, because of course we didn't capture it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking you had mentioned too, I don't know if this leads to it, but you were going to the Dragon Room?
Yeah. So shortly after, sorry. Shortly after the bowling alley, we went to the electroshock therapy room, did a little stint there. We ended up going into the suicide bathroom first, and we had an awesome session there. The ghost box was saying stuff. We were getting comments through the ghost box, but we couldn't make out what it was saying. But it was like grumble enough to know that it wasn't radio, which was cool.
Yeah.
Melissa's arm started to burn.
We're here to respect you, opposed to observe you. How about that?
I gotta look at my arm with this flashlight.
Is that 15?
My arm is burning.
Your arm is burning? There's a red spot.
Oh.
a good season.
I don't know.
It's burning. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a red spot
Yes,
right
yes,
there.
yes.
Look at that.
Yeah. Now, we need
Who's
to check.
touching
We need to
Alyssa?
check your camera, make sure I didn't do that to myself, and I don't remember. So let's mark that.
Well, it's on you.
Because I could have scratched myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But-
Why is it burning?
I don't know.
Sweat?
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, because I do have itchy skin, but
oh, that's right.
so I might have done it. Because I feel like
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What did it just say?
It was saying something while you were looking at her arm, but I couldn't hear.
Do you have a recorder with you?
I don't.
I got a Zoom right here.
Did you do that to me, or did I do that to myself? Because I'm not
You're
sure.
up high now, so we're able to probably pick up something.
We'd love to hear from you.
Oh,
Hello? Pussy?
yeah.
Why are you calling? You know, we're here.
We called somebody that earlier.
We
today.
sure did.
What?
Um,
Oh.
Uh-oh. I'll be saying lots of prayers before I get here.
Yeah, you were provoking down there
A
too.
little bit.
I heard it.
Did you follow us up here from the boarding room? Or?
were you born in Virginia?
I don't know what it's saying.
I turn the ambulance off. Did you scratch Melissa?
For calling you a pussy?
And she was scratched too. Now they were already up there, and now they already provoked Uncle. And now I think she was being attacked.
It sounds like Melissa's getting the short end of the stick, even though it's her birthday here. She's,
She's the birthday girl. Yep. She gets the extra gifts apparently. So yeah, I'll show some footage on that. Let's see if I got something ready here.
While you're doing that too, I know you've already plugged the show Dead Files that had it on here. I also want to let those that are listening or watching know that they can check out. What was the one I watched that I found very helpful for this? It was Destination Fear, tied in with a lot of what I'm calling the Hollywood hype on it too. So folks want to check out Destination Fear, the Dead Files. Those can be found online or on Discovery Plus, as it were.
There you go.
How long did you guys get in the building for your investigation time? You know, were you allotted? 10
You're
hours,
asking me
12 hours?
time stuff?
I'm just wondering how long you were there. Like, you know, where you did you got 2 hours and you got to cover this whole place. Or they give you half a day, all night. What did you know? Somebody locked you in overnight. How did that work out for you?
No, we were there all night. Unfortunately, I'm not going to pull it up here, but unfortunately, Bob Davies was there too, but he couldn't make it. He did the walkthrough, but he couldn't stay the rest of the time there. So he actually went back to the hotel, and I feel bad for him. But we had the whole night, and I actually reached out to the team and said, you know, because we were going to Lake Shawnee the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know, since Bob missed out on St. Albans, you know, let's make sure that we are there for him at the amusement park.
Sure.
So that we came through. We helped him out through that time because, you know, he recently had a stroke, and he couldn't get around that big building, 6,800 square feet. He was just
I could imagine.
tired, so he was saving up for the amusement park. But yeah, so we stayed there like till 3 in the morning. It was pretty late, man. We had a great night. So the suicide bathroom, so the dragon room. So nothing really happened in there. There is why they call it the dragon room is
Thank you.
there is a dragon that's painted on the wall. The only thing that we got out of there was Amanda did feel like we were being drawn away from something. But one of the things that I wanted to do for the spirit is I told the spirit that I would finish their drawing. So I took a picture. Who does this? Seriously.
I know that. I'm ready for this because the suspense is killing me. I'm like, where are we at?
I'm thinking out of all the paranormal people out there, who does this? Yeah, so I took a picture of the dragon on the wall. And you could see like somewhere on here is a signature, like MCE or something like that. It's somewhere on there. So we're asking, who did the dragon? And, we're starting to have conversations. And then Greg and Joanne came in and joined us there. And then not too long after that, we went to the main meetup area. So I told the spirit, I said, I'm gonna take a picture of your dragon and I'm gonna complete it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished it for him. I finished it for him.
Yeah,
Who does that?
You got to go back to the place and finish it out like that. That
Seriously, who does that? Who else do you know that would finish a painting for a spirit?
That's awesome.
That can't, right? Come on, look at that detail. I even put blood on the teeth, dude.
Right. That's fantastic work. The forked tongue for the dragon.
Actually, he had blood on his teeth already, but it was kind of like weird because he's like ripping through there, and I didn't know what some of these were, so I was like, but yeah, no, I finished it for him.
That's great. That's great work. The only man I know that goes into an investigation says, "Look, I feel like you've got unfinished business, and it's not a crossover; it's to finish drawing your dragon for you."
Yep, and then there's Jacob's room. That's where this little boy is said to have been taken advantage of by this orderly named Donald. And there's footage out there. I just shake my head at what people put out there. There's this one video. This guy did a Facebook Live thing, and he was hearing something, and he was contributing it to the attack and everything. Sometimes you don't really, how do I say this? Do what you would do if it was a living person.
Sure. Some stories are better left untold.
Or just leave it alone. Just let them rest in peace, Some people just get their ideas. I mean, take a picture of a dragon and finish coloring it in. Don't sit there and bash a boy that was already abused and abuse him even more.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, it's where's your head at, people, sometimes?
Well, you think too, the place there, you can't help but wonder if a lot of that is has some negativity in there.
Well, the negativity is the fact that they don't want their spirits to leave, don't cross anybody over, and if you watch the Dead Files, they Amy says it best, there's 4 women who want to leave but can't.
Right.
The dead people don't like the living. They're pissed off, they're exhausted, they feel tired, Marcel's has a friend that was jumped. Amy was jumped. She couldn't even finish the walkthrough. The lady scream at her. Don, the security guard, he was picked up and moved. He was levitated. He got
Yeah.
pushed. And Amy's basically telling us just let the dead have it.
So what my mind thinks too when you say that is the spirits that are there potentially, they potentially were trapped there in the mental institution when they were alive. Now that they have passed and nobody wants to let the deceased move on, what makes the new people in charge any different than the old people in charge then? I mean, that building itself just has something that wants to contain everything that ever gets in there. And I think the different story would help out to change that, as opposed to just oppressing the people that have always lived there since, forever are living there.
Yep. And there are, when it was a school for kids, there was Miles, his name George Miles. He bought the building, started this school for kids to become men and do sports and athletic, and it kind of seemed to be a little, it's like a prep school.
Yeah.
But it was like they were focusing on like muscles and strength and everything, and anybody weak wasn't allowed. There was write-ups in the yearbooks that they found, that I wonder if I can share the screen when I pull it up here. One moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
go ahead.
No, keep going.
I was going to say, so as it being a preparatory school like that, those places still do exist where they tailor around to the athletic type or the jock type, things of that nature. So I can see where what you're saying comes in, kind of a selective school as far as a preparatory school. But
and there was one boy. Let's see if I can share the screen here.
What'd you say this guy's name was? Grimes? Giles?
Can you see that?
I saw something in blue, yes.
The big blue book?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. Page 14.
And on page 14, we have, you're going to have to read that to us. That, at least on my end, looks like I need better glasses. Oh, there you go. You're getting better.
It just talks about have your biceps grown? Are your muscles harder? Is your digestion better? It's just like they're building machines. Or they're building the man that they think should be,
The Stepford man.
Here you go.
Okay.
There's a early picture of the school. Can you see that?
Yeah, no, this building, when it was the school, and I see that there, is that the same size, or did they add on for the
They added on to it, yeah.
Okay.
When it became a hospital, they added the corridor.
Now,
as others see, this is perfect. The handsome man. So they're voting like, who's the ugliest man? The St. Albans dude.
most conceited.
Ladies man, smartest man. So this is in their yearbook. They're picking like people here.
Wow. I feel like I would have fit all those. Like maybe I should have gone to school there. I won all 7 of those awards.
So this is where they talk about Christmas. Let's see here. That there was 13 people at a table. As I said before, there remained but 13 boys here for Christmas. 13 is said to be an unlucky number, but nothing happened during the holidays to mar their pleasures. So I cannot say this number is so unlucky. After all, although some of our boys refused to sit at the table with that number present.
Superstitious strongman's group.
And then before it was Radford, it was called Central City. So this is nice. It's from 1893 to 1894. Nice yearbook there.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to show to you was, let's see. In 1904, because this starts to show. So this Miles guy kind of left the school and other people were in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started being more allowing hazing and bullyism.
Yeah.
So here you get Pittsburgh Lee Pickle is a puzzle to all of us. He is very quiet, very retiring.
Well, with a last name like Pickle, I can imagine you're not going to be outgoing. Okay, that's.
And then, but then it picks up there and talks about Ellie, which is ELLEY or ELY, which could be an Ellie.
That's the bowling alley.
Yeah. So it says the boys of St. Albans were given a surprise one evening early in October when they went to supper by the appearance of E. Blackburn Runyon. He was seated at the head table under a watchful eye of Mr. Randolph, and from all appearances a nurse must be procured. Sam Jones nobly responded to the call and gladly took him under his protecting wing. After the first night, however, Sam found the job a little too difficult and soon kicked him out. Blackburn then retreated to the Bowery and served as a humble slave to Maddox and Sullivan. He did not return to us after Christmas, much to our delight.
So now they're kicking a guy out, too. You become a burden.
You're kicking this guy out.
You need extra care, and you're not coming back after Christmas.
And I got a little more about this Ellie Blackburn Runyon guy. So apparently, if you're not up to par, they basically kick you out and they don't really care anymore. So there's kind of like the river. Now, a little side note on this is when they say suicides happen here, the most suicides that I found are patients walking to the bridge and jumping off the bridge.
Patients from St. Albans?
Yeah.
Okay. Which river is this?
The New River. So here's Craven's math exam. So, of course, one of them was, where is it? If Maddox owed Runyon $3 when Runyon left, how much would he have owed him if he had finished the season? So they're making fun of him. They're making fun of him now for not returning.
I'm curious as to who Cravens is.
And then the Ancient Order of Reckless and Independent. Oh, and then here you go. Liar's license. So this is a certificate that allows me or whatever hereby authorized to lie. So that was part of it too.
They're teaching them to be married men.
Yeah. I know there's Here, let me search for Runyon here. Oh, let's see here. 21. So one of the books that he liked was, or read, books I have read, The Lives of the Hunted by E.B. Runyon. The Boys of St. Albans, that was by the appearances, which I read earlier.
Yep.
And then, of course, the math problem. And then lastly, E. Blackburn Runyon did not return after Christmas, much to our sorrow, as it put a stop to the football games on the terrace, in which he figured prominently as the football.
Wow.
Yep. So he was the football.
So he was the guy that was picked on.
He was the guy that was picked on. Now, Ellie Blackburn Runyon, he was born October 21st, 1892. He died at the age of 18. He was the only son of Dr. Asa Runyon and his wife, Dr. Emily Earl Runyon. She was one of the first women to practice medicine in Virginia. So he comes from,
Money. Education.
The name Ellie honored Eliza Jane Blackburn, his second without Churchill Blackburn, who reared little Sally Blackburn when she was lost her mother at birth. Okay. So a couple of things what happened with Ellie is he joined up with another dude, and they went and they robbed somebody's home, and they were arrested for that, or they admitted to their crimes. They stole from this guy. But on July 4th, was it July 4th? So he, him and their buddies were at this river, and they were swimming, and he did a backflip or jumped or something, and he landed on some rocks, and he became paralyzed from the neck down. So there was articles about him. Actually, I can share that one because I took the time to do it. Might as well pull it up here.
Absolutely. And this was one of the guys that you're talking the guy that got bullied out of, in essence, the
so whatever became of him. So July of 1910, he confessed of housebreakers. Young Runyon was arrested, 18 years of age, housebreaking. So he was arrested there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he confessed to the crime, but he's in the hospital.
He's dying in the hospital, is what it states too.
Yeah, the boy, by his mother reached. The boy's condition proved to be so serious that the authorities of the Junior Republic sent him to the Maryland University Hospital. And then August 1910, moved from St. Luke's to his home. Little hope for his recovery. While in bathing near, how do you say that?
Annapolis.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
On July 4th, has been removed from St. Luke's Hospital to the home of his mother, Dr. Emily Runyon, 1023 West Gray Street. The young man's back is broken and he is paralyzed from the shoulders down. So, kind of paints a picture of young Runyon after his dealings as being a football,
Yeah. And did it say where, well, shoot, yeah, it's probably the same timeline too. Did it say where he was buried in the same area, or?
Yeah, he's
find a grave on that guy?
Yeah, I got it. He's buried the Lexington Cemetery in Kentucky. He's
Wonder if
buried
that's
in
where.
Kentucky, and that's where a lot of
Wonder,
people.
is that where his home was, or did they transfer? You know, was his
That's where
home
his
actually?
family's. That's where his family's from. Because the boys' school was from all areas, but I know it said that his mom was the first woman doctor in Virginia. So it kind of at least brings out one of the persons that could be an interest of paranormal there, especially if they're getting the name Ellie or Allie, and it is a woman's name because he was named after the little girl that was died, but
Liza.
Yeah, so gave it a boy's name, boy's version of the name, I guess.
He is Bowling Alley.
So he could be there coming back to, get revenge from the people that used him as a football.
100%. And do you know how long St. Albans stayed open as an asylum?
I want to say like 1980 for some reason.
It was 1990, actually.
Yeah, it was there for a while.
So that stayed open with a lot of time and history in it too. That's not that long. Well,
right.
What, 30 years ago now, but still doesn't feel like that long ago, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things.
But it's definitely a place to visit. When we got back into, or as we're going throughout the building, doing our thing, and one of the last things we did is ended up back in the filing room. And I did ask a question and got a response off of the Ovilus 3. And I said, describe a word or say a word that describes you best. And it came up with Papa.
Really?
P-O-P. Yeah. So it's hard to say if that means anything, but it seemed important at the time. Now, to kind of, so as we're cleaning up and getting on to St. Albans, we went back to the hotel. Melissa saged everybody.
Excellent.
So we did that process. But I think something did attach to Melissa, which this year when we went to, or last year when we went to Hartford City again with Brandy and Vinny, she kind of had thought about it, and she thinks something was with her. She kind of thought about it. She didn't know at the time, but I noticed a change at the amusement park. So we stayed at the hotel. The next day we went to Lake Shawnee Band Amusement Park. That's June 2nd. And I had no intentions of investigating there. I went there with spiritual intention because one of the things that they like to do there is they like to have a campfire and sit around the campfire and tell stories. Mm-hmm. And the lady, I forget her name I should have got her name ready, but the owners, the woman that owns the property with her son, she came out and told the stories about what she experienced with her husband. And we had a fire. And one of the things is that you're supposed to bring this offering. So in 2019, that's when Mike passed in my arms, and my brother had passed earlier. So I had firewood. I had firewood from my brother's house. I had firewood that Mike had split, and I had firewood from what I've split. So I took one log of each, and I brought it to this campfire, and I put it into the fire pit one time as a spiritual for me offering, and I just tended to the fire all night long. From Mike Menard, who died earlier this year, January 6, 2019. I also have wood that I cut myself, and then I have wood that came from my brother's
Brenda's family, the teams down in Missouri. So that's my wood offering for today.
Throughout the day, of course, we made sure that Bob got through the course and did his thing. So, you know, Ghost Head Soup came through for Bob to make sure that he experienced the amusement part because
Awesome.
he didn't take advantage of
St.
the
Albans.
St. Albans. So we made sure
Sure.
that he got around, and you know, it was a good experience. And then later on, when they started investigating, man, I'm glad I wasn't out there because I would have got frustrated because that damn dog, there's a dog at the house barking every other second throughout the whole time and listening to the evidence. You know, just bark, 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 bark. And I'm like, boy, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Laura the whole time, tending to the fire, and I'm like, "Do you hear that dog?" You know, it's like,
You bring up I'm going to take us back to what you were asking about Melissa seeing a large dog or an omen. And I said, did you ever run into any other animals throughout the course? You were talking about that damn dog right there a second ago. I just want to bring up the fact that you did run into the dog again. It's just now that dog was bothering you in a different form as opposed to.
it wasn't bothering me. I was that night to me was nice. It was I was glad I wasn't investigating because I would have felt that I was wasting my time because of the dog barking.
Yeah. I think you were referring to Lake Shawnee owner Gaylord White. Is that correct?
That's the guy that passed, yeah. But his wife, his wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was out there telling us stories, and it was great.
Well, I'll send the film story right
Whoa!
Yep.
Let's see if it's real.
You know, of course, Dale and everyone else wanted to get out there and hunt, and I was like, well,
Sure.
You know, go ahead. And Tim was setting up his cameras. Tim was doing his stuff. I know they went into the bus in the back there, and I walked around to the thing. Actually, kind of funny the other offering that I brought was this angel missing wings garden statue type of thing,
Okay.
probably about this high.
Mhm.
And I wanted to find a spot because there's a story about this little girl that was killed on the swings, not documented anywhere, but there's a story there. So then I went to put her in the back, and it was like she was out of the place. I put her behind these oil drums or something, and then I started walking away, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. So I took my camera, and I'm like following along with her, and I'm like, tell me where it feels right. And I get to the open area where the Ferris wheel is, and there's a picnic table, and I just put it right in the middle there, and I go, there's where you belong, where everyone can see you. So on the bottom, I signed it, Ghost Head Soup, everyone signed their name, and I put it there. Well, the next day, they had a film crew come out for like the world's most haunted places or something like
Sure.
that. And Laura's watching the show, and they showed this angel on the show, the TV show.
Really?
Had the angel with the Ferris wheel in the background, and I'm like, "This, holy crap!
Now that
My
really is there
offering
for
is on
everybody to
TV.
see.
My offering's on TV."
Alright, so I got extra batteries here. So, again, here she is. My offering, Ghost Head Soup 2019 at the abandoned amusement park.
like, that was the coolest thing, man. I was like, wow, hey, good thing I didn't hide her. So
yeah, that did put it out there. You made the
You gotta
great
go with your
scene where you
instinct.
can see the angel in the background
Yeah.
to it. That leads to the whole trail of thread throughout our story here too. You know, stuck in the rainbow, seeing the natural wonders, putting an angel out there, and then it literally is out there for everybody to see on the TV show. That's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, it's just the experience itself, and then there's more. So
But wait, there's more.
yeah, so as we're coming home, we go back through Dayton, and we stop and get gas there, and God, it was just like we get off one exit and we have to go like 2 miles through like suburban Dayton just to get to a gas station, and we finally found the spot, and Melissa noticed that her car was smashed in the front.
Oh, really?
Someone rammed her car. And my guess is that it was at St. Albans. She thinks it was maybe at the hotel, but I think it was St. Albans. Because there was a bunch of cars that were leaving that night, racing down there, and her car was parked on the side. So her car got hit.
Yeah.
And as we're driving home, of course, we go through Dayton and see all this tornado damage and stuff, and just the awful destruction of that. It's kind of weird to see. So we finally get home. She drops me off, and then she gets home, wakes up the next morning to go to work. Her car won't start.
Wow.
So apparently, whoever smashed into her car, like the battery got moved, and it was affected the battery was punctured. So
you literally had enough juice to get home. That's
what I'm telling you. The angels got us
all right.
home.
The kids got you home. That was the whole.
We got home, and then the next morning she had to call in and get it fixed and replace the battery and got the damage fixed. And
wow.
It was
I mean, look, I've driven from Washington, D.C. back home, and that's 16, maybe 20 hours, with a couple stops here and there. But if you're driving the whole way through, that's a long drive.
Yeah, I think we did stop at a Cracker Barrel.
Got to get that mac and cheese, man. I love that Cracker Barrel mac and cheese. That's some good stuff.
It's good stuff right there.
Right. That's great, man. I mean, so as far as you're concerned, the whole highlight of the entire, we're going to label it St. Albans, but the highlight to me, and I get where we come with the dragon as the name of this show now, is you completing the dragon, telling that person. So this I'm going to give you the whole thing too, because it wraps in with what I like. It seems to become a recurring theme now with you when you go on places that I've noticed is you're leaving something to change the scene as to where you found it, but in a better way, right? Going back to Maud's Sleep, you're looking to change where she's buried, how she's buried, what have you. Here you're looking to finish out the dragon for somebody that may have had their unfinished business. You're putting the angel out. You're setting the wood in for yourself and Mike and your brother. The whole experience changes for the better after you leave the place. So I like that.
It's a crusade.
A crusade. That is great. A one-man paranormal crusade, and you're doing it.
Well, it felt right. You gotta.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hence the whole asking for the light on me. And again, I don't normally do that, but I had a sense to do it.
Would you ever go back?
To St. Albans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go back, and I would encourage others to go there as well. I mean, I go under the website. They're already booked up for this year, but I want people to bring light there. I mean, just watching the shows and watching with everybody does. I mean, this place just needs to be open. Just open it up and put light into it and just let it shine. Just don't get rid of the negative, get rid of the darkness, get rid of the trying to make money off of these spirits, trying to hold the spirits back. you know, be one with them. These are people. They were people, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we got to treat them the same we would like somebody standing in front of you. And you know, Marcel's health wasn't the greatest. She was on the machine. I asked her, so what's going on? She's like, I'm going to the hospital. They don't know what's wrong with me. I go, well, I could probably answer that for you.
yeah.
This place,
take,
you know?
take a look. Yeah, take a look at what's
Because
in here.
I did say that to her. I go, what do you think? It's this place that's doing this to you? And she kind of, yeah, you know, she agrees and stuff. I mean, nothing against the people. It's just, you know, put your mind in the better positive light and just,
Well,
I mean, I would love to see that place open up and have sunshine through it. I think you would get the same results,
yeah.
you know.
I think you might even get better results because you're opening up the clear communication, and somebody's got obviously something in that area has a story of oppression that needs to be told. You know,
Well, Amy says it. They don't. Amy says it's best.
Yeah.
The dead doesn't like the living.
Yeah.
Well, make them like us. You know, the first thing I went down to the filing room and I said, "Hey, spirits, what do you do what do you do the Marcells that she doesn't like it down here?" And I said, I'm a visitor here. If you want, and I'm just going to take a tour of the building. If you want to follow me and be my guide, go ahead. But I'm leaving. I'm just a visitor. I'm here to visit you. I'm here to pay my respects to you. I'm here to validate you. You know, I'm just a visit. You know, I'm just a visitor with a goofy hat. You know. Yeah, that's what I bought my bright yellow hat out there in Ohio. Oh, that's another thing too. That's another thing. Was it the same trip? I don't know if it was the same trip, but I remember it was so Melissa and I stopped at one of the maybe it wasn't the same trip. But just because I brought it up. We were at one of the Oasis on the turnpike, and Melissa saw one of those penny machines, you know, where you get the penny stamped. You put a quarter in a penny, and the penny comes out with the stamp that says Ohio or whatever. So we were in Ohio, and she goes, my daughter collects these, but I don't have $1 or something like that. And I swear to God, we turn around and there's no one there. And in the middle of the floor, there's a $1 bill laying there. And I'm like, there's one right there. And Melissa's like, what? And she look at her face, is like, are you kidding me?
That would be great if it was the same trip.
You asked for $1. There it is. It's laying right in the middle of the freaking room.
That must have been right after you were in the rainbow.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the same trip or not, but
right.
You know.
That's awesome.
I know we're at the end here. Boy, that went quick, guys.
That did go pretty quick.
So yeah, the kid's giving us the warning. That could have been about the car. Who knows?
Yeah, well, the whole thing could have been. I mean, you look, everything was a warning. Like I said, you were struck for natural disaster from the beginning. Stuck in a derecho. Oh, wait, that wasn't the derecho. That was a tornado-like weather. But you were just, you know, a ball of storm, and maybe the asking for the light to come down and help and protect you helped you out to get the journey made to complete it, to get home. You know, that could have been your whole intuition. Feeling that the car was getting roughed up. That's crazy. Yeah, that's it was. I'm glad I got to talk about it finally because it's always on my. This place is always on my mind. It's a cool place. I mean, the building is awesome. I didn't get too much into all the areas. Greg's on. I think he did the morgue and everything. We didn't do the morgue, but. Well, I go back. You could spend a solid month, you know, and still be fresh in certain places around that place. If I understand how big it is, you know, of a building, the ground that it covers, it would just be a tough place to cover in a 6-hour time frame. So hitting what you did, and you mentioned that you thought it was a great investigation because of the way that you tactically went about it. And I think that's good to have the plan.
Well, in addition to, the place is known for the Draper massacre that took place there and Civil War battles that took place there too. So there's more history of the location.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that, actually, I do have something else here.
A little bit more for the scrapyard.
That's right, the scrapyard.
I know we are hitting the scrapyard here. Wait,
So here's
is that the
kinda
name of
where-
the paper? The Radford Gossip?
No.
Look, that
It's
is
the
a Boston
Roanoke. It's
girl.
the largest city nearby is Roanoke, so it's the Roanoke. So this is like November 1891. So it just basically says the land improvement. So here it talks about the land near the north end of the steel bridge to Professor G.W. Miles of Emory to kind of build the school. So this is kind of like the beginning of the schoolhouse there.
Okay, so he's building up that school. Gotcha.
And then, sorry.
That's all right.
Advertisement there. Sessions open 1902.
50 acres.
It kind of leads up to how colleges are today. I mean, they're recruiting sports athletic people because this St. Albans School for Boys, they just crushed every team they played.
Well, I can imagine, right?
And that's like the colleges today. They're recruiting the biggest and the strongest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of like was the template for how schools were going to be. So here's like a suicide one that I found. Courtney Bayless, Radford Sunday, where he'd been taken to the sanatorium. 20 years, prominent in business. He retired from business. He used a piece of broken glass tumbler to cut his throat. He was 52 years old. So there's one suicide there.
I like how they say his wife and several children. We're not going to tell you how many he had. He had several.
Here's threatens to kill himself.
Yeah. Lutheran minister.
From Florida, yep.
Interesting.
And then I think that's the same guy. Nope, maybe not.
No, that's a completely different guy.
Doctor, this is the doctor, Oppenheimer. Richmond physician, chief surgeon.
People in this town are just going crazy.
Yeah.
Then again, they probably had...
He was a patient several years at St. Albans, a private hospital, New River Bridge, jumped from the bridge about 3 p.m., was rescued from the river, and they have to make a note that it held up traffic for 45 minutes.
This poor guy can't even go clean. Just he caused like 45-minute traffic delay too.
Brain injury.
How close is this area to Point Pleasant, where the Mothman area is?
Well, we did stop at Mothman. We did stop at Point Pleasant on the way back. I think Tim and Amanda stopped there on the way in, but Melissa and I stopped on the way back. There was one other stop before Dayton. So yeah, it was like it was funny because it's right on the Ohio River.
Yeah. So
Point Pleasant, we stopped there. Had stopped at a little sandwich place and got a picture of the Mothman, and it was kind of funny. I was talking to Melissa about like how does Ohio get the name the River Ohio? And then I look at the back and see how beautiful Virginia is. I go, yeah, Virginia's got this beauty. Ohio could name the damn river.
Right. So Ohio's got nothing else but desolence
Open,
and highways,
freaking flatland, boy.
Mhm. Cattle farms. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, you can name your river Ohio. We'll give you that.
We'll give you a valley. All right. You can have the Ohio River Valley. That's about it. Everything else is
Yeah,
just
we
toast.
still, I've seen the movie Mothman, but that's, it is what it is.
Greg says they
Right.
stopped both coming and going as well at Point Pleasant.
There you go. Well, you gotta stop. I mean,
Well, I know my mind was wondering if that had anything to do with the some of the activity that had gone on in this area, but over by St. Albans. Just was wondering how close it was. If it's a half hour, 2 hours, whatever.
so it was a fun trip, but a lot of ups and downs. Again, Melissa's car, and I think something attached Melissa, like she was being burned, she was being scratched, she was being touched, and I think a lot of that had to do with the provoking in the boiler room. So there might be something to that.
Yeah.
What they're saying. So a lot of what you're seeing out there could be mapped to what we experienced. We didn't catch too much stuff on our evidence. But
Yeah,
the
but
physical.
I'll give you some closing thoughts here. No, I know we run over here, but I'll give us something to think about here. As I mentioned before, everybody can check out the evidence on the TV shows, the Hollywood shows. You watch the Dead Files, but at the same token, we can be. I just want to give a shout out on our end for the continued support from StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere else people watch. You can find us at ghostheadsoup.com. You can just Google up on YouTube Ghost Head Soup. And feel free to check that out on our end. Dean, any wrap-up thought on your end?
Don't just what would Dan Aykroyd do?
He'd make a movie about it.
No, wrap up thoughts. Just take note of everything. Just question your feelings, question why you're doing things, look around, take notes. As far as go that extra mile. Like I always tell people, just go that extra mile, do a little more due diligence. And, at St. Albans, when they're telling these stories, but we got no documentation to prove it. Okay, so don't waste my time, just, okay, so this is a hospital, this is this, there's a map that shows you what was there. I mean, I would have liked to have done some maybe role playing or trigger objects or something of that nature in the suicide bathroom, instead of, because I don't even know if there's proof of this Rebecca person committing any suicides for that matter, or even having a baby or a baby with a jar in it, as Greg pointed out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no documentation for this stuff. It's just people talking about it. Just, I would have liked to have maybe utilized that area and maybe had Amanda and Melissa as nurses. Wait a second.
That's a whole nother show.
Like,
Right.
like play acting, kind of like staying in the nurses station, finding out where the nurses station is and kind of painting that picture and just going to room with maybe a tray and just going through that action and maybe doing something that way. A little more, instead of guiding our investigation based off of potential stories that could potentially be real.
Right.
You're
You're talking well, it'd be great to come in with a clean slate, and just let you figure it out from your end, as opposed to trying to tell you what could potentially be there or they think is there. Let you just
study the building and what happened at the building, and then take it that step. I mean, you got to know a little bit about the place.
yeah.
But I would definitely. I mean, the Dead Files show was pretty good. Greg, you're a dirty old man, you.
Yeah, the Dead File show was good. I'll co-sign for any of them that I've seen on there, at least to give you the background story of what the building is. I binge watched them a little bit in between episodes of Supernatural.
Yeah, I do encourage everyone to go to St. Albans, just because, one, to protect yourself first. I would definitely protect, but I would also want everyone to bring a pocket of light with them and just keep adding it into that place. Just add light, add positivity. Just, don't even tell the owner. Just go into a corner or something like that and say, hey, by the way, you can leave when you want to.
Like
just close the gap between the living and the dead there. Just have the dead like the living again. There's no reason for that separation.
So that seals it. When you go back, you're going back with the proverbial olive branch, and I can see it coming from there.
There you go.
All right. Dean, as always, thank you for your time and production and efforts and everything that goes in this. Everybody watching now and later, thank you again. We'll catch you on the next episode, everyone.
Of Paranormal Pickers.
Woohoo!
Oh, hey. Wow. Oh, hey everyone, it's Dean from Paranormal Pickers. Oh, I got the preview for the next episode. Oh, yeah. Here, take a peek. Oh.